Ladies and gentlemen, ooh, two streams in one day. What a surprise! What a gift! Oh man, we've been checking out that Ronaldo interview. I mean, I just been sitting there just watching it, being like, what is this all about, Ronaldo? And honestly, we'll reserve the thoughts for when we hear the full thing. Really, I mean, I have some stuff to say that, like, you know, I think maybe might do a different stream for that, dedicated to that. But this is the first time we're starting to have the World Cup conversation in this channel. So I just figured, you know what? I gotta welcome you. It's Hump Day. It's the Football Power Hour. You are gonna be treated today with a special guest. You just wait. You just wait. There's gonna be a special guest that's gonna come and join us in a little bit to join in on the World Cup conversation because honestly, this week has just been too much Ronaldo, not enough Ganacho, not enough World Cup. So big up. These flowers go to you for tuning in. Let's just go straight ahead and say, um, my guest is a very good friend of mine, all the way from Devils United, one of my favorite channels on YouTube. I literally learn a lot. I don't know nothing about the women's team, even though I'm a Man United supporter. I try and expand my knowledge, and this is one of my resources. So we are so privileged to have the wonderful Macy joining us. Yeah.
Hey.
Big up to you, Macy. Thank you for chilling with us today.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes, it's really a special moment for me because this is my first time having a guest hosting. So I am so excited and I feel so honored to have you, honestly. So we're gonna just kick off this conversation and just say, were you watching the Ronaldo interview real quick?
I did watch the Ronaldo interview. I know there's going to be another one tomorrow. I don't have too much an opinion at the moment because I need to watch both of them to decide my full
Mm-hmm.
judgment. Because I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to say, like, oh, this, and this, and then be so angry tomorrow. I'd rather get it so absorbed for
Exactly.
absorb this one, absorb tomorrow, and get it in. But for me, in my opinion, it felt like as much as some of his opinions were viewed in terms of
Mm-hmm.
Carrington, the players, the Glazers, I feel like there were some things what was forced out of him, such as Wayne Rooney, for instance. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like because he Piers said on the lines of, "What did you make of Rooney's comments?" Because after all,
Yeah.
he's retired and you're still playing top flight football. And I think in that
Mm-hmm.
kind of way, it's that using his he's feeding his opinions onto Ronaldo, and Ronaldo's having to comment about that.
I was smelling a lot of that. Pierce's journalistic juice is not my favorite. He's seriously coming off. I mean, I didn't even rate him before, but obviously with all the hype to this interview, I was like, okay, this hype. I hope it matches the actual product. And so far, Piers Morgan's journalistic like approach has not been so impressive to me. It's just so funny. I mean, not funny. It's very problematic how he kind of pries a lot into this privacy, like the very sensitive issues. The way he was posing the questions, I was just like, you know. Uh, anyway, we
And
will
as well, I
reserve
just
all the
think,
judgment.
yeah, I also think that Piers is a bit too up his bum for my liking. Like
Yeah.
when you, I think when you're interviewing someone, you need to have it as
Mm-hmm.
a neutral ground. Because
Yep.
I have watched a few interviews of his in the past many years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and compared to what I have seen and now, it is a completely different kind of interview for me.
He's very very weird as a person.
Yeah.
His friendship with Ronaldo is also very weird. I mean, for what I know is that he said that they had a 4 hour dinner together, and I was already sort of just smelling that. Okay, this is gonna be a biased interview. This is gonna be a rehearsed interview. This is gonna be lots of, it's not gonna be raw, it's not gonna be real, there's gonna be edited truth. And the question is, like, when editing truth comes in, there's obviously bias in that. It's like they're trying to tell a particular story in some sort of way. But anyway, we don't want to spend too much time on that, because this is the World Cup preview, the first conversation we're having on this channel about the World Cup. So I think I'm just gonna pull up the groups.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find a tab that I have where I have the groups real quick, and we're just gonna go straight into them and be like, okay, let's look at Group A first.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts when you just see that list?
I think it's quite a straightforward group. I think we all know what's going to happen. Netherlands, I think, is easily going to top the group, but I think Senegal could be potential dark horses just because of how they were in the AFCON. I'm not too sure what's going on with Mane, if he's injured or if he's going. I'm not too sure about that one, but
he's been declared unfit for sure for the first game. So I think there's hope that maybe for the third group stage he'd probably feature in that game.
And that is the toughest game anyway against the Netherlands. And if they lost against the Netherlands and they won the next 2 games against Qatar and Ecuador, they're secured for second to first place. So, so I think losing Mane, I think they'd rather lose Mane for 1 game than losing for the entire competition. I think Qatar and Ecuador, regardless of who Senegal has, Mane or no Mane, they should be winnable games.
The crazy thing though, Maisie, Qatar has the home ground advantage. There's the people, they're used to the climate. They're used to, it's not so much of a culture shock. They're used to the food that they've been eating over there. Everything. I don't know. I'm just trying to throw that in out there and be like, they might just surprise people. They might.
Everyone thought Ecuador was going to win against Qatar, and I said based off the home advantage, I think Qatar's going to win it.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the end of it all, I mean, just by glancing the whole Group A, Netherlands, obviously, it's a must for them to go through. So it's just more competition for. It's about the competition for that second spot, and hopefully, from my hopes, I can tell you real quick that, like, my hope is, like, I mean, I'm from Botswana and that's in Africa, so I'm hoping the Africans get it together and just like use that momentum that they have from the previous tournament and just make their way into that second spot. Fingers crossed. We'll see. What about Group B?
You know what? This is such a tight, competitive group because England's not in the best of forms, but as much as a lot of people don't like Gareth Southgate, he does switch it up in tournaments. He did it in the Euros. He done it in the World Cup when he finished 4th place. So you know that as much as I hate how he sets up at times, I hate the kind of squad selections he picks. He builds it up for a tournament.
You don't like Gareth 5 at the back gate?
Well, if you look at the Euros, he didn't play 5 at the back. He played a 4-2-3-1.
That's true.
So he can actually change it up depending who he plays against. I know he's probably preferable at the 3 at the back, the 3-5 at the back. To be honest, I'm not particularly bothered how he really sets up as long as we get out of that group. But I think if we was to be comfortable, we're probably best off winning the group
Mhm.
Because I think you'll get like I think it's the runners up of Group A, I
Yeah.
believe, or something. So
Ah.
I think if Netherlands top it, I think that'll be a tough one. Whereas I think we would
Mm.
have a bit more of a fighting chance against Senegal, Qatar, or Ecuador. So
Mhm.
I think he will aim for first place. USA, I'm not too familiar
Mm.
with the squad. I know a couple of the players. I'm not overly familiar with them. I know like Pulisic, for example. Like, everyone knows Pulisic, but uh,
Yep.
I'm not overly known to the squad, so there could be a potential surprise package. Not too sure, but
Mhm.
Wales, as much as Wales is a rival country of ours, and they do switch up in tournaments. They're a great
And
knockout team.
Bale goes superhuman.
Yeah, I actually say Gareth Bale for me is probably one of the only world class British players right now, in my opinion. I
Mm.
think he's brilliant, and they've got a mixture of both in terms of Asian players and younger players, and that helps the team. Like they've got the likes of Ward in goal, a
Mhm.
great
Mhm.
experienced goalkeeper. They've got Kiefer
Mhm.
Moore up front, but they've also got Gareth Bale, and they can also bring on a younger Dan James and a Brennan Johnson, and they've got Tyler Roberts. So I think they've got a mixture of both, who's got tournament experience, who hasn't got as much tournament experience. But
True.
the only thing is have they got, just like England, have they got informed players? Is that what's going to drag them down a little bit?
True. It's gonna be interesting to see because I feel the US. I feel like in the World Cup the progression has been steady and it's been in increments. It's been going upward. So chances are really high that they're usually very organized defensively. It's just like the offensive output that disappoints them. So we'll see. I mean, but then that chances obviously. So does that mean that the runners up of Group B are going to face the winners of Group A?
I believe so.
Is that how the bracket is?
Let
Okay.
me have a look how this is set up. I believe that is the case, but I will just get it checked beforehand
Yeah.
before I do talk about knockouts. Knockout stages. So winners of Group A will play winners of Group B, and
Hmm.
yeah. So I think
Hold
if
on. Winners versus winners for Group
winners
A
of
and
Group
B.
A will go runners up of Group B.
Oh, runners up of Group B.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think
Okay.
that would be England's best. If I were looking at it as an England point of view, the best bet is to try and win the group, because I think regardless it's going to be tough, and just like Wales, they're going to want to adopt the group because they haven't won a game against the Netherlands in their last two appearances.
Thanks. This is gonna be interesting. I think obviously just looking at the two Group A and Group B, I mean obviously you're expecting England to make it and Netherlands.
I
Those
hope
it's
so.
just a given. That'll be a huge upset
Yeah,
if they don't.
I'll
You
give
know.
it. Yeah, I think we will get out the group, but I think if we don't get out the group, I think Gareth Southgate knows that his time's up at England.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem moving forward for England would be having a draw at the end of extra time and then it goes to penalties. Anytime when you and then the knockout phases, it's gonna be a little bit tricky. There's gonna be that history weighing in and stuff like that. So you know,
And
hopefully
yeah,
that doesn't happen.
of course, if England wins the group, out
Mm,
and then after, and if they beat, for instance, Senegal, who finishes in the second place,
yeah.
that means England could either face either winners of Group D or runners up of Group C.
Mm,
So
oh
there's
yeah.
yeah.
Yikes. And Group C and Group D also look very interesting. But over here, real quick to wrap up Group B, I'm looking forward to. I hope Zidane, Iqbal, our little kid. I hope he he shines and gets a moment, to express himself. Um, and then also with Senegal, um, absence of money, if I'm a backup striker, I'd want that opportunity to shine. So hopefully somebody steps up, and fills the boots. So my predictions, based on what we just said about Group A and B, is Netherlands and Senegal to go through, and then England and the US.
I've gone for Netherlands, Senegal, and England, Wales.
Ooh. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. What about Group C? What's your vibe about Group C?
Group C they haven't got a bad group, to be fair. Argentina stacked with talent. Couple of players from the R's is on there, like Lisandro Martinez. So I just worry of him. The thing is, we know Argentina may potentially go far. So with the last thing we want is for him to get injured during the World Cup. Poland, they've got the Lewandowski there, so they know they've got a goal scoring threat.
He always goes MIA on big games for Poland. So.
But I think he will probably turn it up though against like the likes of Saudi Arabia and Mexico. I can't see it against Argentina because I think that they're basically stacked everywhere. I know they've already got a few injuries. I know Dybala is injured and I think Di Maria is injured. People are saying Messi's injured. I don't know how accurate that is. I don't think it is, but if that is the case,
That's going to be huge.
Yeah. But I know both Dybala and Di Maria is injured, and as much as I don't rate them both as players, they're great assets to that Argentina squad.
True. You know the matchup that I'm waiting for? Lewandowski versus Martinez.
Oh yeah, that would be a good one, won't it?
That's gonna be a good duel to watch. And Mexico, so it's funny. Mexico, I think, like historically, is just like makes it out through the group stages. So it's gonna be an interesting fight for that second position too in Group C.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that. I think with Mexico, they're not a team that you can take lightly. I think they can go open at time to time, and that allows space for oppositions. But I think when they're narrow and compact, they play very well.
Yep. Hello, Martin B. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Martin.
So in conclusion, so who's gonna get that second spot for you from Group C?
Poland, I would say.
Poland. Ooh. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you on this one. Even though Mexico, this is tough. Yeah. But it's gonna be one of those where it's like goal difference. There's always that group where it's just like it's decided right at the end, at the last game of the group stages. And this is one of those groups. Especially if Argentina has an upset. Because the World Cup is also filled with surprises.
Exactly. I completely agree. But I think for my own sake, I don't want Argentina to go far just because of players.
I think like us and Manchester City, we probably have like one of the most like players participating.
I think we're the second highest after Manchester City.
That's ridiculous. It's such a weird thing, right? Supporting and be like, I want you to do well, but I also don't want you to go far. I want you to come back and start training with the team. You know what I mean?
And so Ten Hag said that we've got a strong chance of our players making it very, very far, and he's spot on really, because you've got the likes of Martinez from Argentina, we've got Rashford in England.
Yeah.
We've got Fred and Casemiro in Brazil, and we don't have a backup for Casemiro, really. So that's a bit frightening also. And I know we're going to touch on the next game. We've got Christian Eriksen, who's there too. So
That's a good segue. So I mean, Christian Eriksen is gonna be the heartbeat for Denmark,
Hmm.
and we need him to come back fit because our midfield is crap without him. So, what are your thoughts on France? France are missing Kante and Pogba, right? Those. I guess when we're talking heartbeats, those guys were like the spine and you know
Yeah,
metronome of the team. So what are your thoughts on France right now and the rest of Group D?
I think for me, Kante could still play like Kante if Pogba wasn't there, but Pogba can't play like a brilliant Pogba without Kante. I think Kante can
Mm.
still turn up without him, but France has got like how we would like to say a McFred now of Rabiot in that midfield. So um, and they've got a few injuries. They've got Christopher Nkunu, is he pronounced?
Yeah, Nkunku is injured. Yeah,
Injured.
yeah. Who
They've
was
got
another player that was in good
mm,
form, and who else? Go ahead.
I'm sure Benzema has been a bit tricky with his injuries recently. They've had their backup goalkeeper, who I would like to say is better than Lloris, Mike Mangum. He's
Hmm.
also injured too. I think they've got a fair few injuries in that France squad. And I know France has still got a very good team, but I don't think France, in my personal opinion, they've been the same France since they've won the World Cup. They don't seem like they play
True.
as a team. I think they play like 11 individuals, in my opinion, on the pitch. Australia, I don't really know too much about the squad, so I couldn't really comment too much. But
Yeah.
Denmark, if you look at Denmark and the players, you think, right, these players are average players, but they work so well as a team. They've got a couple of
Hmm.
great players, like Ericsson, Casper
Hmm.
Schmeichel, for instance. They've
Hmm.
got
Yeah.
Damsgaard, but they've got like, and you'd think of like Brentford, they've got Norgard as well, who people don't really recognise as a great defensive midfielder, but he works so
Yep.
well with Christian Eriksen. And what I love is, especially when Ericsson was injured, they played brilliantly. They played with fight, they played with the heart, and I'm not saying
Hmm.
that's gonna be what helps you win the World Cup, because it won't, because you need
Mm.
to be consistent for every single game. But I think that Denmark team, for me, has got enough to actually top this group, and I've actually predicted them to top it. I think they'll top it with France being second.
Oh, big proclamation there. Yeah. What you just said actually is so true, and it actually makes me feel like out of all A, B, C, and D, there's a favorite that might just not make it out the group. Like a team that we're like expecting to automatically make it out the group. There's gonna be a surprise. We're
Mm-hmm.
gonna revisit this footage after the group stages. Yeah, I agree with you with everything that you said. Also, Tunisia, do we have
Hannibal Menjaba, who's currently
Hannibal
on
is in there?
loan.
Yes. Oh, I hope he gets a moment to shine.
He's been playing well at Birmingham as well. He's been one of the star men at Birmingham. I've heard a lot of good reviews about
Mm,
Hannibal at Birmingham. So if he keeps up how he's doing, for me, in my opinion, I think
mm.
he's good enough for that Manchester United team. I think the only reason why he's gone out on loan is just to bulk him up a little bit, because how can not that it was a bit. I don't want to describe him to this player, but I think it's the same reasons as this player. Do you know, like when David Beckham was sent out on loan to Preston? Not because he was a player who needed to be on loan,
Yeah,
it's a player to get that little bit of bulkiness and physicality
bulkiness.
ready
Go
for the
go go go
Premier
build
League.
yourself a little bit.
Yeah,
Yep,
because
yep,
he's
yep,
got
yep, yep.
like, how can I say? He's got like spider legs in a way. They're so thin
Mm-hmm.
and they're so long,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
anyone could just literally rip into him. Like I look at his legs and think your legs are gonna break if someone touches you. And I think
Yeah.
I think personally that's the only reason why he's got on loan, not because he's not good enough or he needs the
Yeah.
experience or anything. I think he's good enough, but they want him to improve physicality.
Like go try and win some one-on-one duels, but in low stakes situations. We can't be risking top four with you like proving yourself physically. Yeah, no. I hope that he's one of those people that I just hope that you know with every World Cup there's that new name that's sort of like been an underground name, and then just sort of just like dominates the headlines and has like so I'm praying for a good outcome here with Tunisia. So to wrap up this, he said Denmark and France, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm about to make a bold one here. Denmark and Tunisia to go through, and France to to be the surprise. you know. And
Wait a
wait till
minute.
it is going to be France that wins this.
They
what?
won the
What?
World Cup last time round as well, and there's that World Cup curse of whoever wins the World Cup
Yeah.
gets knocked out in the group.
Exactly. Strange things can happen in this game.
Germany's a good
It's
example.
crazy.
Germany, Italy.
They actually are about to go that Germany dip that like Germany has been through. So I hope we're right. I hope we're right. Group E. Wow. Okay. Different styles of football here. What are your thoughts when you just like look at that?
I think poor Costa Rica.
Oh no!
I look at the group.
Costa Rica, amazing. Costa Rica, like Mexico, not because of Spanish, but somehow it's one of those teams, like that, like historically, like also just make. I feel like they've made it out maybe 3 times out of the last four. I could be wrong on that stat, but like Costa Rica can surprise people. It's one of those like duck horses that could come out and be a force. But from the quick glance right now, it looks like a goal festival for Germany and Spain, and Japan is gonna, is usually very organized and stuff. Go ahead, talk to me though about like Spain. Your thoughts on Germany?
In terms of
Japan
Germany,
too.
I think
Yeah.
that they've improved since the last World Cup. Don't get me wrong, but I think there is areas where they could really improve upon. I look at, for instance, their forward players who they brought through in the World Cup, and I don't think they've got a good enough goal scorer to say, right, this is a player who's gonna get like you look at player like go like other teams, for instance, you've got Martinez from Argentina, you've got Harry
Yeah.
Kane in England, you've got Gareth Bale in Wales, you've got
Yeah.
you've basically in every single group you've got a good goal scorer, and you need to
Yeah.
have a great goal scorer to do well in the group stages, and I just don't think Germany has that, and I think that's the only thing that lets them down. They've got great wingers of Sane,
Yeah.
Jamal Musiala. He's a terrific
Yeah.
attacking midfielder, but they don't have, for
Yeah.
me, in my opinion, a proper number 9 who is able
Yeah.
to lead the front and to get them like to say, oh, out of 3 games, I will score you 2 goals. Like they don't have that proper set number 9 for me, and I think that's the only thing what lets Germany down. Spain, they're
Yeah.
missing out on such big names, Sergio Ramos being one. They bring, I think for me, they brought in some surprising players. Thiago's another one who's got missed from Liverpool. I would argue probably he didn't deserve to be there based off injury record, but I don't think you can win the World Cup when you've got an aging Aspilicueta in that team, and you've got literally a winger who has literally scored 2 goals in 50 appearances for the club. And
And also you can make the same case for Germany. I mean, for Spain, where the goal's going to come from Spain. For Spain, who's going to be the person that's going to be delivering the goals?
yeah, they don't have that. I think that's the thing. They've got a great goalkeepers. For me, they've probably got 2 of the best goalkeepers in the tournament of David Raya and Sanchez, but they're not going to be first choice goalkeepers. They don't have just like Germany, they don't have a proper goal scorer, and the defense for me is a bit off. I'm not a fan of Paul Torres. I know a lot of people are, but I don't particularly like him. I think he's quite sloppy. So I think they're a couple of things what's going to let Spain down. But with Japan, you've already mentioned they're very organised, and every time I've watched Japan, the dark horses for me. You never really know what to expect, and they've got Tomiyasu, who he can be great. He's got Minimamo, who is supposed to be doing good now. He's left Liverpool. Berita, sporting player, and he's a great creative player. So I'm not familiar with the entire squad in itself, but I think with the way Japan play, they can actually fight with Spain and Germany to get to that knockout.
Yeah. It's funny. Like Group E it's got very distinct styles. So Spain is like what, intricate football, ball on the ground usually. Germany is like efficient, physical, direct football. Japan is organized, a little bit like more hit you on the break a little bit. Costa Rica, I don't know much. I don't know what characteristic to attribute to them, but Group E is very interesting. The styles of football is what's intriguing for me. We have some people over here, by the way. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys, we've been ignoring you guys. Martin, big up to you. Luca, big up to Neil. Oh my goodness. Thank you for joining us, y'all. So, what about Group F, Maisie? Wait. Did we wrap up who you're predicting to go first and second?
First place, I'm gonna go for Germany. Second place, I'm gonna do a surprise one and say Japan.
Ooh! So Luis Enrique, you don't have confidence in Luis Enrique?
Not that I don't have confidence in Luis Enrique, because I think he is a top. He's a top manager, and if we never had Erik ten Hag, I would love to have Luis Enrique at Manchester United. And I do think if Arteta isn't Pep's successor at City, it'll be Luis Enrique. I think he's a top manager. But I just think with his selections, the way that they don't have anyone really there to score. Like, you look at Spain in the group stages in the Euros, I felt like they were lucky just to get through with the way they played in some of the games. And in this group, it's a lot harder group than what they had in the Euros. So, as much as I think Luis Enrique is a great manager, you can't transform crap overnight into a unicorn.
True.
So, he's got definitely a force to play with, let's just say.
Okay, well, just to be different, I'll just say, for me, it's the obvious. It's the quote unquote obvious. Spain and Germany that are going to go through, and Japan will just miss out. Martin B says Musiala was absolutely class versus England, couple of months away. Martin, I feel like it's going to be Musiala's World Cup. This is going to be Musiala's World Cup. It's just sort of like a gut feeling thing that I have. We might be looking at the top goal scorer, for the World Cup. We'll see. Anyway, Group F. Let's talk Group F real quick.
Yeah, Group F.
What are your thoughts?
An interesting one. I don't like Belgium. It's not that I have some kind of agenda or anything on Belgium. I just hate how Belgium's set up. The defense, they probably got a combined age of 90 of the back three. That's me being generous. They've got an out of form Romelu Lukaku, Eden Hazard, who doesn't play. They got Thorgan Hazard. What's so great about him playing at Borussia Dortmund? But the only way Belgium, for me, would not do well is if De Bruyne got injured. De Bruyne is that key player alongside Axel Witsel. If them two wasn't playing, I think the team will literally crumble. I honestly do believe so. And Canada, I think for me, is an underrated side. They've got some great players in there. I think, in my opinion, they've got one of the best fullbacks in the world of Alphonso Davies. They've got, I would say, an underrated number 9 who I'd absolutely love at Manchester United of Jonathan David as well. So I think they could be a potential dark horse to see how far they could get also in the World Cup. Morocco, I don't know too much about, but Croatia, they haven't done too bad. Last World Cup, they finished in second place. Probably looking at that from, if you was Croatia, probably that they were overachieved. That's no disrespect to Croatia, but you wouldn't have ever expected Croatia to finish second. And I think that they are going to want to come out and think, right, I want to try and aim for the same. I don't think they will. It's going to be an interesting one. And to look at that, it's a tough one. Because I think I'm going to go Canada to finish first. And I think just narrowly. Narrowly.
Okay. Canada first and then
Belgium second, narrowly. I think Croatia will miss out off a point or goal difference.
That's yo. If this happens, Maisie, we're gonna. I'm gonna check this footage right after the group stages. Okay. Belgium first, just because Kevin De Bruyne, and then obviously I want to say Croatia, but I'll recklessly say Morocco because I can't decide between Canada and Croatia. So Morocco, Belgium, and Morocco. Some of the decision making process that I have is questionable, but hey, I had to make a decision. So okay, Group G. What are your thoughts on Group G?
Very lucky Brazil. They've got an easy group in my personal
opinion. Right. They're like the Man City luck,
Yeah, they're gonna win every game without a doubt. I don't. Serbia's got a few good players, but I don't think they're good enough. Switzerland were dark horses in the Euros last year. They ended up knocking France out on penalties.
That is true. Oh my goodness. Yo, I forgot about that.
And they've got the likes of Shaqiri in the squad, Granit Xhaka, who's in terrific form right now. So, and Cameroon, I can't see them making out the group really. So, in my opinion, I think Brazil's going to win it easily, but I think Switzerland will finish second.
Yeah, even though I want to be with my African brothers from Cameroon, I think it's going to be Switzerland for that second spot. And quick question about Brazil. It just occurred to me that, do you think Anthony faked his injury? Because, Go ahead. Say that again.
I wouldn't like to think so, because do you like how we just forced a move on to come to Manchester United, and then
Yeah.
he wants to fake his injury just for a World Cup. To be honest, it just shows how poor this World Cup is more than anything, that
I
players want
know.
fake injuries and fake illnesses just to
Mm-hmm.
get into their squad, because just like Varane, he hasn't played for a few weeks and he's got into that France squad. I'm not saying necessarily Varane has faked his injury, because he gets injured every other week. He's made of glass, but Anthony, I think it is more of a 50-50, but I'd like to think he didn't, just because the way he was with Ajax to come to us.
True,
And I don't think
true,
Ten Hag
true.
would have accepted it.
Right, right. But maybe, he might have caught word that he might make the squad. And then, he's always thinking about the next step. And then he, it'll be very interesting to see if he starts, the next game, or that first, the little warm up games that they have. I'm going to be looking closely, being like, if you gave us 180 minutes of Elanga for no reason, I'll be pissed, Okay, so the final group. Wow. It all comes back to Ronaldo. We started with Ronaldo. Go ahead. What are your thoughts on Group H?
We start with Ronaldo, we end with Ronaldo. Yeah, but with Portugal, I think they're easily going to get out. They've got, for me, in terms of two fullbacks, in terms of left and right, they've got the best two in the world, of Cancelo and Nuno Mendes. I don't know how much people have watched of PSG. He's actually a Sporting youth player, and PSG took him on loan last season and bought him permanently. I think he's absolutely fantastic. He plays a wing back as well as a full back.
Okay.
Play on the left, Cancelo be on the right, and I think, like I say, in terms of both full backs, they've got the best two in the tournament for me. Alongside, they've got Bruno Fernandes. They've got Dalot, who they can play as well. He'll probably most likely be playing too. They've got a lot of options. They've got Bernardo Silva. They've got Nunes from Wolves. Another good one, Paulinho from Fulham. He's another great option, and he played terrific against us. He's played terrific in the Premier League full stop. He was a terrific player at Sporting, as well as Nunes and Mendes as well, and they've got a great they've got good front three of Felix. Ronaldo can turn it up when he wants to be, and I'm trying to think. They've got Andre Silva as well. I'm not too sure.
Have you mentioned Neves or
Neves
also?
is another one. Yeah, not even touched on him. And I'm not too sure if Jota's been called up, but I can't think. I think he's injured. I'm not too sure, but
We'll check that. Yeah, it's a star-studded team, and the thing about Portugal, in my opinion, right now, Ronaldo has cast a little cloud. They're gonna be the Man United of the tournament, in the sense that there'll be so much like people watching to see, is Ronaldo starting? Is the squad doing better without Ronaldo? Right now, he's already got the stomach bug and he's not playing the friendly, tomorrow. So, it's just like one of those things where it's just like, why, Ronaldo? You're gonna pull the spotlight to yourself, but I guess also at the same time he thrives with that, and that's what he wants. So
he isn't in the squad, Jota, but they've got Rafael Leao from AC Milan, and I think he's
that's who we needed. Man United.
He costs a ton. He will cost an absolute ton, but Portugal get everything else that they're ready for the World Cup. Uruguay.
What are your thoughts? Yeah, exactly. On Uruguay.
Uruguay's an interesting one. I actually got them in my World Cup sweepstake at work for them to win it. I got it randomly. I'm not too sure how happy I am because I know they won't win it. But with Uruguay, they've got Suarez, they've got Darwin Perez, they've got
They're crazy.
Palestra. Palestri will be representing Uruguay
Oh,
too.
I want to see Pelistri in action. That's one of our other little kids I want to just see perform well, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pelistri is such a wonderful talent, you know. So they are obviously stacked with firepower in terms of like strikers, and they defend well, and they have tournament experience too, because it's one of those things too that some of these players, some of these countries we've talked about, there'll be players that'll be dazzled by the lights and the occasion, and then it's going to be an overwhelming event
And
for all of them. So
another one, they've got Edinson Cavani.
of course, the Matador. So, and he usually turns up for tournaments. He doesn't have any groin injuries. He's just available. So, I don't know. Ghana is also another team, another African team that if you weren't going to put your money on Senegal, you know, actually Ghana and Uruguay have ugly history with Luis Suarez and you know, blocking a ball with his hand, and that's like never set well with like a lot of Ghanaians and people from Africa in general, because I think it might have been in South Africa when that happened, and when the World Cup in South Africa. So it was like the last African country, in the tournament, and then Luis Suarez does the ugliest thing. I mean, he was doing whatever by all means necessary for his team to survive, and he took the game to penalties or something like that, and then Uruguay ended up knocking out Ghana, and yeah, crazy. So actually talking about that, I'm curious, Macy, what's your favorite World Cup memory? You know,
Oh, tough one. I think out of all of the World Cups I ever had,
yeah.
my favourite World Cup would actually be the South Africa one for some reason. I think it was. I know it's not overly too long ago, but the South Africa World Cup is the earliest one I actually can remember, to be honest. So
I mean,
I was only 10 when. Well, I was
ah,
9 when that World Cup was on.
I mean, it was special for me because I'm from Botswana, and Botswana is right next to South Africa, and it was something that was cool. Was seeing how the world were reacting to vuvuzelas, because I grew up with them being like a normal thing, and then like you have like all these new sounds that I introduced to the world stage of football, and people are like using them in ways that we Southern Africans don't usually use them. It was just so
And there was some
interesting. It
special
was
players as well in that World Cup because you've got the likes of Iniesta playing and Savvy.
mm-hmm,
If you look at that Spain squad back then compared to now, this Spain squad is a pussycat compared to that Spain
right.
squad back in 2010 South
Yes.
Africa. And even the Netherlands, they were. Not saying they don't now, but at a time they didn't really play as well as a team. And back in 2010, you'd be scared to play the Netherlands just because of how physical and dirty they could really play. And Robin van
Mm-hmm,
Persie was actually one of my favourite players before the World Cup. Before he came to Manchester United, I loved him when he was at Arsenal. So to see the likes of Robin van Persie, and not long after, I became a massive fan of Van Persie, and
mm-hmm,
seeing, I think Thomas Muller was absolutely fantastic as well in the South Africa World Cup, the World Cup as well. I think Thomas Muller was only very young as well when he came to that World Cups, and
mm-hmm.
now he's one of the more senior players in the Germany squad.
Mhm. So actually, to wrap up the group and all the team conversations, is like, so who are your favorites? Let's say it like this: I'll give you two teams um, to predict, to be like, these are your favorites for to win the World Cup, and then also predict like a surprise team. Obviously, that team doesn't have to win the cup, but like a team that just surprises the world, and then a team that flops. you know.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
go for my two favorite winners to be Brazil,
Hmm.
and I'm also gonna go for Argentina. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for
To pause
flops.
you real quick on
Yeah.
that, I mean, to add to what Martin was saying, like Brazil, are scoring 2+ games and all of that group games, and that just scary firepower for any defense. Like right now, what Vinicius is doing, having like Neymar there, and then in the second half, Anthony is coming on. It's just like Rodrigo. It's just like scary.
So
We
stacked.
know they're gonna score lots of goals. So Brazil is one of those teams also that, like, I think it's logical for anybody to just be like their favorite. So you said Brazil and Argentina.
Argentina. Yeah. I'm gonna go for
Okay.
flops to be Spain. Just because I don't think they'll do so well whatsoever. But I'm gonna go for my surprise package to be the Netherlands. Because I think at the moment the Netherlands is, compared to what I think, they started going on a bit of a downfall in the middle of the 2010s.
Yeah.
When like Memphis was coming through properly, and it was getting a bit aging, but they had inexperienced players under the same breath, and they've got Louis van Gaal now, who I think has really organised the Netherlands squad.
It's the
They've
side to side mentioned.
Yeah. I think, just like Brazil, the Netherlands
Yeah.
are quite stacked up in what they've got as well. They've got Gakpo, who can
True.
play from number 10 anywhere up front. They've got Memphis playing there. They've got Memphis there as well. Timber from Ajax. They've got Delit. They've got Dumfries. They've got Frankie De Jong. They've got a lot of great talent in that squad. So I think because there's the likes of Argentina, there's Brazil, there's Portugal, there's France. I don't think the
Hmm.
Netherlands at the moment is looking at getting that recognition what you would think that
Yeah.
they would.
True. True. Yeah, it's such an interesting thing, because there's the whole like World Cup. There's so many variables that come into play. I mean, our conversation is just making me think about like experience, age as well, like the age, how's the player performing with respect to that age? Are they past that prime, or are they like actually in that prime? Because like Modric is like a little bit like prime, or like almost like about to get on the other side of the slope. But all those things, it's like, is that experience going to be useful, or is it going to be something that's going to like hamper the teams going forward? So it's such an interesting thing to think about. Martin B says, can I also add that I never want to see another winter World Cup ever. This feels
Yes,
so weird. I don't like it.
yes, I wouldn't mind that.
It's so weird. It's strange. And the fact
It
that
is.
like all the leagues are taking it a break, and it's just, you know hopefully it's the last one. Okay, so what, let me see. To Did you said the flops are going to be Spain? All right, and then okay, so for me, I am thinking logic tells me Brazil and Argentina, obviously, but um for the flops, France, and what was the other one? I think those were Those are the questions that I asked you, right? Yeah,
And you
yeah.
asked for dark horses.
Oh, the dark horses. Um, Ghana. Ghana might just be, not because the players are dark, but like it's just be. It might just be one of those like teams that just like go to maybe the quarterfinal or semifinal, and upset a lot of like teams, and it's such a strange thing because this is not club football. This is sometimes a set piece. You know how Brazil has that team, there's that like moment in the competition where like the front line is not really clicking and they need like something really spectacular, or sometimes maybe it goes to penalties, or it's a crazy one too. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait. It's gonna be so interesting to watch. But there's been such a great time, Macy, hanging out and talking about this. I think like we might need to revisit this conversation after seeing like how the group stages go, and then make a little prediction from the knockout stages or something like that. But I really enjoyed having you here. And yeah, anything else that you want to say and shout out your socials and
Yeah, I really
wrap up our
appreciate
convo?
me having me on. It's been a great, and thank you for having me on as your first ever guest. I really appreciate it, and just as you've already tagged my YouTube's Devils United as well, so you can catch me from
Exactly.
there. I know I've already touched on that. I do women's football too, so do that as well as men's football. Touch on a little bit of sporting as well.
Sport
So
in Lisbon.
yeah,
Yep. I appreciate that, Connor. Please keep the content flowing and keep it coming, and keep the dope vibes. And thank you so much, Martin, and everybody that joined, Nia, Luca, everybody that came through, and anybody that's going to see this too. Big up, big up. Thank you so much. That's the first World Cup 2020 preview on the Football Power with Macy from Devils United. Thank you. Good night, y'all.